There's a place at the far end of Long Island where the land narrows into a wind-carved point. The Atlantic crashes on one side, Block Island Sound on the other, and rising above the pines is a massive, rusting radar tower, a Cold War relic that looks like it should be still humming with secrets. Locals call it Camp Hero. Conspiracy theorists call it something else entirely, the Montauk Project. A supposed government program involving psychic children, mind control, time portals, and experiments that sound like they were ripped straight from a fever dream. But what's real? What's myth? And how did an abandoned radar station become one of America's most persistent modern legends? Today we're peeling back the layers, not to sensationalize, but to understand how myths are born, why they stick, and what they reveal about us. The land and the base, Camp Hero, the radar tower, and the military history is all real. It was built in 1942 as a coastal defense station during World War II, designed to look like a fishing village from the air. Fake shingles, fake windows, and fake houses hiding artillery.
In the 1950s, it became part of the SAGE early warning radar network, watching for Soviet bombers. The massive AN/FPS 35 radar, the one still standing, was one of the largest ever built. The base was decommissioned in 1981 and eventually became Camp Hero State Park. There are bunkers, sealed rooms, and underground utility tunnels, but nothing beyond what you'd expect from a mid-century military installation. There are no declassified documents, no whistleblowers, no physical evidence showing anything beyond standard radar and surveillance operations. The facts end there. And that's exactly where the myth begins. Everything we now call the Montauk Project comes from one source. Preston B. Nichols and his book, The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, is published in 1992. Nichols claimed that he worked at the base, that he recovered memories of secret experiments, that he remembered psychic children, time travel, portals, and contact with otherworldly entities. He claimed to have remembered abducted boys, the so-called Montauk Boys. But no employment records confirm he ever worked there. No witnesses corroborate his story. His memories were recovered, not documented, and his claims expanded with each book like a growing mythology.
Did you know he wrote 5 books about this?
I knew about the one book we talked about, because we talked about this briefly before.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's the Montauk Project, the one that you talked about from 1992. And then there's Montauk Revisited in 93, Pyramids of Montauk in 1995, The Black Sun, Montauk's Nazi Tibetan Connection in 1997, and Encounter in the Pleiades. That one is in 1996. So, okay, yeah, The Black Sun comes after the Pleiades one.
I'm gonna be honest, the whole round of books that you mentioned, like they sound like a series of movies from the 90s.
They do. They really do. I mean, that it was just kind of that's what was out there,
Mm-hmm.
X Files type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
X-Files, Outer Limits, Twilight Zone.
I mean, this guy was busy. It almost makes me think of the Blair Witch Project, where it was marketed as being a very real thing that happened,
Yeah.
but it
That,
wasn't.
let's say that was part of what made that so good. So I imagine that, I mean, if people read these in the 90s, I mean,
Uh,
it would be very believable.
yeah, yeah. So the early 1990s were a perfect storm with Cold War secrecy. MK Ultra had been exposed. The X-Files era was beginning, and abandoned military sites were fertile ground for imagination. I mean, MK Ultra is enough to make people kind of, I don't want to say paranoid, but maybe that is the right word. Suspicious. maybe is a better word, of like government and government properties and stuff like that. So I kind of get that.
Suspicious, wary. I mean, MK Ultra was definitely something that was real, though.
Yes, MK Ultra was definitely real. And I think and maybe I'm just speaking for myself in the past, but I think sometimes people get Ultra
Ultral.
MK Ultra and Montauk Project combined into like one thing. Because when you look at his books, he talks about the same type of things that are talked about in MK Ultra,
Hmm.
but it's experiments done on kids.
Right. Uh, and I that can very well like meld the two together for
Yeah,
sure, just because of similar topics.
yeah. I feel like there's a butt coming. Was there no butt?
There's always a but. uh, it's MK Ultra was I don't know. MK Ultra was like from the start very much so not conspiracy. It was proven like right from the start. It was
Correct.
shown that it was true from the start,
Correct.
as opposed to Montauk where it's not factual. There's a lot of stuff where it's just one
Mm-hmm.
guy saying these things. MK Ultra had multiple people coming forward and talking about what happened and what they saw and what happened. Just everything that was there
Yes.
surrounding this subject.
Yeah. Yep. Um. So Nichols' book, or books, didn't need evidence. It needed atmosphere, and Camp Hero had plenty of that. Before we go any further, this is the moment I want to draw a clear line. There is what we can confirm through documents, records, and physical evidence, and then there is this mythology that grew around Camp Hero long after the gates were locked. To understand the Montauk Project, we have to hold both into view. So let's break it down, myth versus fact. One myth was that children and adults were subjected to MK Ultra style psychic and psychological manipulation. The truth is that no documents, witnesses, or physical evidence support this. Camp Hero's mission was radar surveillance, not human experimentation. Another myth, the base opened rifts in space time, allowing travel to other eras or dimensions. In actuality, there is no existing scientific, physical evidence or documents to support this. All accounts trace back to Nichols' book.
Yeah, so that kind of just goes back to what we said earlier is there's no physical, there's no real evidence that says, "Hey, this is real."
It's like the guy had a dream, a series of dreams, and then he wrote books. Like,
Maybe that's what happened in Montauk. His dreams were
it's good sci fi. I
dream.
mean,
You ever your go to your sleep there not sleep therapy but sleep testing and find out that something was real?
something was real.
Yeah, that you thought you dreamed but was real.
Yeah, it's my sleep studies are very uncomfortable and lack sleep,
Yeah.
and therefore dreams. It's
We
honestly the only the only time I've dreamt was this very last time. It was very full. So I knew that like there were rooms all the way down the hall and they were full of people. And I did briefly dream, but I think it was my anxiety coming through because it was a very brief dream that like one of those people weren't actually there for a study. They were there to massacre us all in our sleep. So and then I woke up and
Ooh, that would make a good horror movie.
wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. Horrible dream and sleep study. A good
Sure,
movie.
yes. It's also said that a vast, multi-level underground complex lies beneath Camp Hero, but geological surveys show Long Island's glacial soil cannot support deep underground structures of that scale. No tunnels or labs have ever been found. Children, mostly boys, were supposedly abducted, brainwashed, and used in experiments. But there's no missing persons cases, documents, or testimonies that support this. Wouldn't that just be part of like the whole situation, though?
Yes.
hiding the missing person stuff.
Yes.
Or what if they weren't really abducted? Maybe they were just the families were paid to give them their children.
Or they were orphans and they were offered candy, a place to sleep.
Candy and bicycles.
Yes.
Hey kid, come get my van.
Mm-hmm.
The story appears only on Nichols' books and later online retellings. The Montauk Project was said to be a continuation of the Philadelphia experiment, a supposed World War II naval invisibility project. But the Philadelphia experiment itself is a debunked urban legend originating from prank letters sent to the Navy in the 1950s. The radar, not according to the 90s film, the radar tower is eerie, imposing, and cinematic. It looks like it should be hiding something. Cold War bases were intentionally opaque. People tend to fill in the blanks on their own, though. And for decades, Camp Hero sat partially unused, rusting away, overgrown and full of locked doors, and mystery thrives in that silence. The 1990s and early 2000s were the golden age of UFO lore, recovered memories, conspiracy culture, and paranormal TV, which what we were talking about, all those different shows that we used to
Mm-hmm.
watch.
Yeah.
Montauk fit right in. Forums, early websites, and later YouTube amplified the story. Each retelling added new layers. It was like the back in the day we used to call it the Chinese telephone game,
Yeah.
where there's always something new added on or something
Uh-huh.
different. The original working title for Stranger Things was Montauk. The Duffer Brothers openly cited Camp Hero, psychic children, government experiments, and Cold War paranoia. They moved the setting to Indiana, but the DNA is unmistakable. Montauk appears in indie horror games, movies, conspiracy documentaries, sci-fi novels, paranormal podcasts, just like this one. Um, yeah, in movies like I was brought it up to you before, because I keep saying it to you. You know, meet me in Montauk. Montauk, that whole phrase is from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and the
Oh
reason
yeah.
why I correlated like this specific stuff to that movie is because that movie has to do with deleting and recovering memories,
Oh yeah.
and so that kind of fell into that place because it was like this specific doctor that did it, where he was able to connect the different synapses in our brains and things that like if you thought about a person, he was able to follow and trace those throughout the brain and you know cherry pick memories out of the brain and stuff. And
Yeah.
so it kind of fell into that whole experimentation thing that I thought. It has become a shorthand for secret government weirdness. And today, Camp Hero State Park attracts hikers, photographers, conspiracy tourists, and paranormal investigators. The myth has become part of the landscape. And here's the truth that often gets overlooked. The Montauk Project isn't about time travel or psychic children. It's about the American imagination. It's about the fear of government secrecy, the scars of MK Ultra, the allure of abandoned places, and the human need to explain the unexplainable, the way myths grow when institutions stay silent. Camp Hero becomes a canvas. Nichols provided the paint and the culture filled in the rest. It's like a fill in the numbered spaces.
At the edge of Long Island, the radar tower still stands, silent, rusting, and watching the sea. It's a monument not to secret experiments, but to the stories we tell when we're trying to understand the shadows left behind by real history. The Montauk Project is a myth. Well, I think it's a myth. But myths matter. They reveal our anxieties, our fascinations, and the places where fact and fear blur into something stranger. And sometimes the most interesting part of a legend isn't whether it happened, but why we needed it to. So, what do you think? Do you think it's a myth? I think the facts are solid, and the claims collapse under their own weight, but the myth, that's the part worth studying. Do I have a theory? Only this. Montauk is what happens when a real place with real secrecy becomes a blank page. People wrote their fears on it. They wrote their hopes on it. They wrote their distrust of institutions, their fascination with the unknown, and their hunger for a world where the extraordinary might still be hiding just out of sight. In the end, the Montauk Project may not be true, but the reasons we believed it tell a story all their own.